Hey guys, this is the new Alpine KTP-445U 4-channel amplifier I just got. So I'm going to be doing an unboxing. So here are some instruction manuals. So the U, I believe it stands for Universal. So I'm going to be installing this actually on my Pioneer head unit. But if you have an Alpine one, then you can just get the 445. So here's the amplifier. It is very compact, but it's still kind of heavy. So I don't think this can be held on with like double-sided tape or something. It definitely needs to be secured. So they give us some zip ties. This looks like a bracket, maybe for the amp. And then here's the wiring harness. So basically the reason I'm going to be installing the amp is to power the Alpine Type S speakers I just installed. Since these are not as sensitive as the stock ones, they do require a bit more power to get the best sound out of them. And then for my head unit, I just have a Pioneer AVHP 4200 DVD. So while this is an aftermarket head unit, and it does push out more power than the stock head unit, it still isn't enough to really drive these aftermarket speakers to their full potential. So that's why I'm going to be installing the Alpine amp. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously disassemble your dash so you can get to your head unit. So my head unit is held up by these 4 screws right here. So this is going to depend on the car that you have, so check out how to do that. But you need to get to your head unit first. Alright, so I unplugged my head unit, so it's kind of a mess right now, but I just want to show you. This is the harness for the amplifier. And so I have the instructions right here. So you can see that one end basically runs to the speakers, and then the other end runs from the head unit into the amp, and the amp goes to the speakers. So this harness right here, this is where I will be tapping into the speakers. So it's this side. So this is my aftermarket harness, so I'm just going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to tap one side for one harness and the other side into the other harness. Alright, so everything is wired up on one side, so this is going to be this harness. So pretty much I just tapped into the aftermarket harness. These are just butt connectors. It was pretty easy, just cut and splice. So then next I have to connect this end to the to this harness, and then connect everything together. So just one more thing. So this harness, this is the one that goes to the speakers, and then this harness, this is the one that goes to the head unit. So that's why I'm going to be connecting this one to this side, because this side runs to plugs into the back of the head unit. Alright, so here is my mess of wires. Everything is pretty much wired up. I wired these up just to test. I'm not going to leave them like this, but I just tested it. Everything works. So I'm going to kind of walk through what I did. So this is my aftermarket head unit harness. So the wires on this side they go and they connect directly to the harness wires. So I just use butt connectors here, connect those up, and then this side right here, these side go to the speakers. So the speaker, they actually give you RCA outputs, so you can connect it up to a head unit with RCA on the back. So unfortunately, that's what I tried first, but my head unit wasn't recognizing any sound. So what I had to do then was I just cut the RCA connectors off, and then this is the harness that plugs into the amp. It's this one, this plugs into there. So I cut those off, and then I just wired those directly to the up to the harness that plugs into the back of the head unit. So this is the speaker side. So we have the signal coming from here. It goes into the amplifier, and then on the other side it comes out, and then it goes into here, and this side goes into the back of the head unit. And then it's pretty easy. Everything's color coded, so it wasn't a big deal. Again, these connectors are just temporary. I just connected these to make sure that the amp worked, and it works. So a problem that I'm running into right now is that since this is relatively short, I'm gonna need to somehow extend it, because I didn't use the RCAs. I'm gonna have to probably extend the wires here so I can put the amp somewhere, because I don't really have too much room here. I was thinking about putting it in the glove box, so I'll probably just extend the wires so I could run this amp in the glove box. But yeah, so far everything works. I'm getting some kind of a hissing gain and noise in the front, so I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna need to mess with the gain here. But the amplifier is really loud. I only had it turned up to 5, and it was much louder than just with the head unit before. So it's only set in the middle, so it can go up a lot louder. But yeah, I'm gonna start cleaning up these wires, and then I'm gonna figure out a way to extend these wires so I can hide the amplifier. Alright, so on the harness, I just crimped on a bunch of butt connectors, and then I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. And then I believe I'm thinking about just using some speaker wire, and just running it the same length as this as these wires. And then I'm just gonna run them to my glove box and try and figure out how to mount them, and then I'll mess with the gain and everything once everything's hooked up. Alright, so I've just been cleaning up some of these wires here, and I just want to show you how I wired everything up, and I'm pretty much done. So I'm deciding to put the amp in the glove box, so it's gonna sit right there. I'm gonna feed the wires from here to the glove box. I already did that with my iPod a few years ago, so I'm just gonna follow that. So there's the amp. So we have one wire here. I put everything in a nice wire loom just to keep everything tidy. I did that with both of the wires. So I'll kind of walk you through what I did. So this is going to be the aftermarket harness. So this is an aftermarket harness for my car, which is a Subaru harness. Everything's color coded since it's aftermarket. So you basically, so for one end, it's going to be this side, the flatter side. This side will be tap into the aftermarket harness. Just match up the colors, really easy. The colors will be the same. And then the other side, which is the more square one, this side runs to the actual speakers. So at the end of those, that's the side with the RCA cables. Since I couldn't get that to work with my head unit, I just chopped those off and then plugged those into the side that plugs into the head unit. So this side is also color coded, so just match it up. Colors are going to be the same, so I hooked those up. So that is this harness right here, which is all electrical taped. So I hooked up the wires. I chopped the RCAs off and then hooked up the wires just by the color, super easy. And then after that, powered it up and everything works. I'm still messing with the gain a little bit. The gain's right here. So right now, how I have it set, you can't really hear too much hissing noise. I'll do a demo in a little bit, but if I have it turned up maybe to halfway, I get kind of a lot of white noise, hissing. So I was trying to troubleshoot that, but I tried everything. It's still making the hissing noise, but how I have it set about a quarter, you can't really hear it. When the car is running, you can't hear the noise, so it's not too bad. And then for the rear, I'm probably going to turn down the gain a little bit because my rear speakers are still stock, so I'll probably turn that down to minimum, and then leave the front gain about a quarter right here. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to finish. I'm going to put my dash back together, run both of these wires to my amplifier, and then I'll do a demo. All right. And also, I'm not sure if I filmed this or not, but I extended the wires here with some speaker wire. So I just used speaker wire, cut about probably like 2 feet, and then extended this. I just used butt connectors to extend the wires, and everything works fine. So I just wanted to mention that. That's how this one is so long, because if you don't use RCAs, you need to find a way to extend this if you're running the amp, somewhere further away. Alright, so this is what I have right now. I just connected everything up, so make sure you test it before you put everything together. So I just tested it, it works. This is how I have the amp wired up. I just wired it in my glove box. It just comes out behind here, and then comes behind my head unit and plugs it in. So then everything is very easy. Hides away like that, and then if I want to mess with the gains, I have easy access to it. So that's how it sits right now. But yeah, I'm gonna put everything back together, and I'm gonna do a little sound test. Alright, so everything has been finished. I put everything back together. I'm gonna do a sound test right now. I will put the volume at 10 like it was before. I have the amp set. I didn't change the amp. The front and the rear are still the same like I showed in the last video. They're still at a quarter, so I haven't messed with that yet. But I will start the sound test. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'll show you the amp one more time. So that's where the amp sits, just in my glove box, nicely tucked away. And yeah, thanks for watching. Alright, so here's just a bunch of tools, what I use. It's really a giant mess right now, but I'll just show you some of the tools that I'm using. Wire stripper, crimper. I use this primarily for crimping butt connectors. Here's just the wire stripper. This is just the ratcheting crimper. This is really useful for making secure crimps. This is a wire stripper, really useful. I've got 2 of them. I like this one better because it's faster. You're probably gonna need, well, it depends. If you're soldering, you're not gonna need butt connectors, but I got these butt connectors. These are the solder, these are the one with the heat shrink, so you just heat up the ends, and then they're basically like heat shrink, so I use these a lot. And then here's a soldering iron if you decide to solder. So, and then these are just a bunch of butt connectors that I used. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Zip ties help, and of course, what are these called? Wire loom cable protectors. These are good. I use these. And then of course you're gonna need some heat shrink if you do decide to solder. That's pretty much it. You don't really need anything special. Just your basic tools, heat shrink, and then zip ties. Oh, and I also used this thing, liquid. It's called liquid tape. It's basically liquid electrical tape. Pretty useful. So I used this a little bit in my install. And I believe that's everything that I used.